I see stuff like this, and it's kind of hard for me to listen to anybody telling me hip hop is dead. The most effective propaganda, war propaganda, definitely of this century, is lathered at its foundation in our drums. 1 second, pause. Mike, check. Justin Hunt, it's all happening. Thank you to everybody rocking with the channel. Thank you to everybody subscribed through the channel who shared a video, shared a link. It's priceless. Big thank you to everyone who's donated. If you'd like to donate, hit the Cash App that's right up there or the link in the description. And big thank you to all my newest members. Just Me, A-OK, Nilatic Nicole, Beef, BNX, BFB, and DIDJID. I hope you don't have to type that in often, because that is complicated. Embracing Ciara, Maritza, Dap, Deontay, DJ, DKG72, 9 second applause. Thank you for all the support over here on the channel. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to Culture United last week. Fantastic conversation. I've been uploading clips to the Clips channel, the Culture United Clips channel. If you haven't followed that channel, punch yourself in the face. 1 second applause. And it's just a lot of really poignant conversations, a lot of hilarity that came out of that episode as well. So thank you everybody who's supporting that. And make sure you check out the new episode of the Third Verse podcast. We're dropping the pod episode, the main episode today. So by the time this video is available, we'll likely be in the live chat for the premiere of what we talked about for today. So appreciate all the support. Now, you know, I have a long list of stories I've been wanting to get to, and this has been top of the list. And it was supposed to go up last week, and I decided to go with another story since it was breaking news, but this has been one of the coolest things that I've seen. And this has to do with what is happening in the Middle East and the propaganda war going on right now between the US and Iran. Now, I hope you guys have heard about these Lego videos. I've been watching these things for a solid, probably month, gotta be a month and a half since I started taking notes around what's happening over here. This is some of the most creative and impactful pieces of propaganda that I've seen in a very long time, if ever. And so we're gonna get into some of these Lego videos, and we're gonna get into where they came from and kind of how they've spawned. But first, let's start with this first one here. Right, so this initial video just came out this weekend, and it says here that it's via Persia Boy Studios. The first two videos we see are actually going to be two different studios, and I think that is because the creator of this wave has been so effective. So there's copycats that are out here already. But let's take a look at what is happening with Lego propaganda videos in favor of Iran. So let's take a look at this first one.
Yeah. They failed at the talks. Now they want to blockade the strait.
Says they failed at the talks and now they want to blockade the strait. So what you're getting is basically news updates from Iran's perspective on what's happening in the Middle East. Let's take a listen to this.
Hormuz Hustle. Hormuz Hustle. You want to blockade us? We already run the muscle. Blockade our blockade. Go ahead.
So you can see the Lego videos here dropping mines into the strait, right? It's all told through Lego videos. You can listen to the lyrics, they give you some insight, but the visuals of what they're showing is easy to follow, regardless of what language you speak, regardless if you have any idea what's going on in this war.
Try your luck. You scared to come close. Keep running. What the fuck? Talks fell apart, now you screaming blockade, but we already control the flow, we set the rate, every ship pays toll or stays away from the gate. You threaten to stop us? Boy, you're way too late.
Sounds like it'd be something straight out of Strange Music. 1 second applause to Strange Music.
Gas prices rising, your allies in panic mode while we sit back laughing. Y'all digging your own hole, you talk real big, but your Navy stays far. Scared of our mines and missiles, that's who you are.
So what they're talking about again is this new idea that since the peace negotiations cratered last week, right now the U.S. is they're adding an additional toll booth, basically, further out from the Strait of Hormuz, right? So Iran has been blockading the Strait of Hormuz, and they're only letting in people that they rock with into the strait. And so since the U.S. can't get in, because there's mines that are all in the bottom of the ocean or bottom of the strait. There's missiles, that are looking over the hills, over the mountaintops that align the strait. So the U.S. set another blockade further out. So it's like, all right, well, if we can't get some of your, if we can't get past your taxes, we're gonna set up an additional tax. It's crazy.
Tomato.
And because it is funny.
Hormuz Hustle. Hormuz Hustle. You wanna blockade us? We already run the muscle. Blockade our blockade. Go ahead, try your luck. You scared to come close? Keep running. What the fuck? What happened to boots on the ground? Where's the invasion? You talk so tough, now you're hiding in hesitation. You begged for ceasefire, then ran back to threats. Couldn't handle the table, so you're making new beds. We're still waiting for those boots.
Ninth Wonder had an interesting point earlier in the week. People are trying to bring back this conversation that hip hop is dead, right? And this time, that conversation is based on the fact that there hasn't been a rap song in the top 10 since Luther was forced to be removed from the top 10, right? And so I see stuff like this, and it's kind of hard for me to listen to anybody telling me hip hop is dead. The most effective propaganda, war propaganda, definitely of this century, the most effective war propaganda that I can even think of is lathered at its foundation in our drums. 1 second, pause.
Promise to send. Come on, Donnie, ring and we'll give you the welcome you deserve in the end. Keep bluffing, keep running, keep playing, pretend. Hormuz is ours, you just lost again. Sacred defense, we control the flow. Boots on the ground, we still waiting, bro. Yeah.
So that's another one that just dropped. Again, this one is credited to Persia Boy Studios. Now, that is not the original company, but you can see where this is going now. Here's another one here. This one, I believe, is uncredited. I'm not sure which company this one came from, too. But this one is brief, and it gets to the point of, I don't want to say it's the point, but one of the strategic weapons that Iran and Iran's allies are using here. When they cut off the Strait of Hormuz, they were allowing countries that they were friendly with to pass through. So anyone in Asia who needed to get oil, they were able to get through. But the transactions had to take place in the yuan, the Chinese currency, right? And so the petrodollar is one of the strongest weapons that the United States and Western allies have, right? And they made a deal in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, that all oil transactions in the Middle East must be conducted in dollars, right? So that actually gave the dollar a stable foundation that most other currencies just don't have. And so this one attacks that idea, since now Iran is forcing anyone who wants to get into the strait and get out to do deals in Chinese yuan, right? So here's this video.
Breaking news, the dollar is dead. Found in the red with the president said Iran made a video, sent it straight to hell. While Trump tweets strongest, the strongest ever fell. The dollar is down. Look who's wearing the crown. Rick's got the gold and the dollar is through. What you gonna do? China counts the gold bricks, hold the keys. The printing press is burning, smell the gasoline. 10% for all, 145 for she. The king is dead, the king is dead, buried in the debris. What you gonna do? Iran laughed out loud. The dollar went to flame. The funeral was empty. No one knows his name. Breaking news. The dollar is dead. Long live the golden. Long live the golden. The golden instead. The dollar is down. Look who's wearing the crown. Rick's got the gold and the dollar is through. What you gonna do?
Right. It's simplistic. Is tackling very tough concepts to understand, but is doing it in Legos, the universal language of Lego. 1 second, applause. And we're going to take one more, and then we're going to get into this story. But this is really setting the stage. Now, this one is from Explosive Media. Explosive Media is the company that who started this. They started putting out these Lego videos in 2025 and really ramped up once this version of the war started in 2026. And this is then you know this has been giving the White House headaches, right? Because a lot of this also is in response to the United States in the beginning was using Call of Duty, for example, for the same purposes, to share propaganda about how well the United States military and Israel were doing in this war. These became way more popular than the Call of Duty stuff that was happening in the beginning. Again, this is explosive media. And so this one right here became probably a bigger story than the rest of them, right? Don't get me wrong. A lot of these are incredibly viral, right? These are very popular videos to watch. But this one here challenged the idea that the plane that went down in Iran was a jet that was shot down. This is the one that introduced the conversation about that actually being a separate strategic mission to get the uranium out of Iran. And then it says at the end, your soldiers will give themselves for Epstein's failed cause. Epstein's failed cause, right? So this one is from Explosive Media. Now, this is the company that started this, right? There's apparently other companies now who are putting them out. We'll get to potentially a reason why, but Explosive Media. Now, BBC this week, they actually interviewed someone with Explosive Media. If you check this story right here, it says, we spoke to the man making viral Lego-style AI videos for Iran. Experts say it's powerful propaganda, right? And so here's the story. At first glance, they looked like they could be scenes out of a Lego movie, although more vivid and fast-paced. But these viral AI videos, inspired by the instantly recognizable Lego aesthetic, feature dying children, fighter jets, and U.S. President Donald Trump, and are in fact pro-Iran propaganda. For our new BBC podcast, Top Comment, we spoke to a representative of Explosive Media, one of the key accounts generating these clips. He wanted us to refer to him as Mr. Explosive. He's a savvy social media operator who initially denies working for the Iranian government. In a previous interview, the outlet has said it is totally independent, but upon further questioning, Mr. Explosive admits the regime is a customer, something he's never before confirmed publicly. The overriding message of these videos is that Iran is resisting what it sees as an almighty global oppressor, the United States. We're going to get into that, some of the other poignant videos that Explosive Media has put out. The clips are garish and not subtle at all, but that hasn't put a dent in how vigorously people are sharing and commenting on them. In one of the videos, Donald Trump falls through a whirlwind of Epstein file documents, and rap lyrics tell us the secrets are leaking, the pressure is rising. In another, George Floyd can be seen under a policeman's boot as we hear Iran is standing here for everyone your system ever wronged. Slopaganda, coined in an academic paper last year as a play on AI slop, is too weak a term to capture how powerful this highly sophisticated content is, says leading propaganda expert Dr. Emma Bryant. AI-generated propaganda clips are estimated to have been viewed hundreds of millions of times over the course of the war. In our video with Mr. Explosive, he appears silhouetted and flanked by red and green light, the colors of the Iranian flag. On his desk, there's a green feathered helmet associated with the warrior Hussein Ibn Ali, who features in several of the videos. He says his team at Explosive Media consists of fewer than 10 people who use Lego-style graphics because it is a world language. Iranian and Russian state media accounts on X regularly share them to millions of followers. We asked Mr. Explosive why the Epstein files feature so heavily in his videos. He says it shows the audience the kind of confrontation they are witnessing between Iran, which is seeking truth and freedom, against those who associate themselves with cannibals. This is a reference to a theory that the Epstein files link the Trump administration to cannibalism, a claim for which there is no credible evidence. That's because they ain't releasing the files. They haven't released the files, so how do we know? I don't know. You let me know what's in it. They haven't released them. How can we confirm or deny it? But who knows? Who knows what information they have? The videos are also littered with factual inaccuracies, so we asked Mr. Explosive about them. In one clip, the Iranian military is shown capturing a downed U.S. fighter jet pilot. U.S. officials have confirmed the downed airman, who was stranded in a remote mountainous region of Iran after his aircraft was shot down, was rescued by U.S. Special Forces on April 4th. Now, that's the last video that we just saw. And there has been a number of conflicting reports around that. But let's take a look at how BBC approaches this. Mr. Explosive does not accept this, saying possibly there was no lost pilot, there was no rescue operation, their main goal was to steal uranium from Iran. When we push back, citing U.S. officials who say the airman is now receiving treatment in Kuwait, he claims only 13% of what Mr. Trump says is based on facts. Hard to argue with him. Hard to argue with him. I watched the Trump administration, the first Trump administration in 2016, when they were inaugurated. I watched them try to tell the world that they had more people at their inauguration than Obama in 08. Once you saw that, it's been nothing but lie after lie after lie after lie since then. And I understand politicians are going to politicians, but Trump is breaking records out here.
Tomato.
Explosive Media's Airman video was successfully amplified this alternative narrative among English-speaking audiences. One partisan US-based TikToker influencer, News with Steph, told her viewers that Lego videos had been shockingly accurate so far. They broke the story about the recent US pilot mission that wasn't a rescue mission at all, but a special ops mission for uranium. AI has enabled Iran and others to communicate directly with Western audiences more effectively than ever before, Bryant says. They are using tools largely trained on Western data, making them ideal for creating culturally appropriate content. This is culturally inappropriate. Ballerinas doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe. Shout out to Clips. 1 second applause. This is what authoritarian countries wanting to target the West have lacked in the past. Dr. Tyne Monk, a cyber warfare expert at Nottingham Trent University, characterizes Iran's tactic as defensive mimetic warfare, which the creators sees as necessary to combat U.S. rhetoric. Explosive Media videos first appeared in early 2025, but their popularity has grown enormously in the wake of the U.S.-Iran war. The Lego-style clips are also becoming increasingly detailed, showing highly specific Gulf locations, including power stations, airports, and industrial sites being totally destroyed by Iranian missiles. In reality, most have only sustained limited damage. Well, we don't really know that, right? Because as we'll see here in a second, our ability to track these things has been reduced significantly. So what we're basing everything on is the word of the U.S. administration. The videos are often produced in real time and appear quickly after major developments in the war. One video about the ceasefire agreement was published before any official announcements. Thousands of people have been killed in Iran, Lebanon, and other Middle Eastern countries. According to officials in these nations, the current conflict started in February after the U.S. and Israel launched strikes on Iran. After some back and forth in our conversation, Mr. Explosive admits the Iranian government is indeed a customer of his company. In earlier Instagram messages, he told us his operation had been directly commissioned for multiple projects by Iranian officials, right? And we're going to get into this part of it particularly because this is not Iran's first time doing top flight propaganda. We're going to cover that in a second. Before the outbreak of the war this year, thousands of protesters were killed in brutal crackdowns by the regime. The US-based human rights activist news agency Harana reports a death toll of at least 7,000 civilians. But Mr. Explosive defends his team's relationship with the government, saying it was honorable to work for the homeland. He dismisses the recent mass protests as a coup funded by President Trump. Mr. Explosive also rejects allegations we put to him. His videos use anti-Semitic tropes. Our videos are not anti-Semitic. Our videos are anti-Zionist, he says. Defending the depiction of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu drinking blood, he says such imagery highlights the atrocities committed by him. Most Iranians are unable to use the internet due to nationwide internet shutdown. Mr. Explosive claims he could contact the BBC using journalist internet granted by the Iranian government. Iran is consistently ranked as one of the most repressive countries in the world for press freedom. Social media platforms have been shutting down accounts with the Lego-style videos, but new ones pop up just as quickly, and that's what we just saw, right? I mean, these things have been so impactful that the social media sites are like, yo, we gotta chill. We gotta chill on this. They're explaining things that are very difficult to understand in a way that's very easy to understand for our population who doesn't read good. It's a form of agile, aggressive internet diplomacy that appears to be here to stay, according to Monk. Crucially, she adds, it's cutting out the middlemen, cutting out the press, the mass media, and constantly circulating memes. The traditional diplomacy doesn't exist here, and it blurs our understanding of what is happening, but it also increases the risk of misinterpretation and escalation. So we are kind of in a limbo. We haven't been in a situation like this. I mean, this really is the first major war where we're seeing civilian use of AI to tell stories. You know, I mean, he says Iran is a client, and if that's the case, then they're the ones that are making these. You know what I mean? And they're very, very effective. Like, check this one out. If you read this video, you can see that a lot of people look at these, and to them, it's actually breaking news, right? Because they, again, are explaining very tough concepts with very easy to understand visuals, as we'll see with this one.
Censor the satellites, how what we did to your bases. You're losing your mind, and you're losing this war, face it. You tweet like a madman.
So this one said, it starts off with, you censor the satellites, right? Censor the satellites. Check this out. Start it over.
Censor the satellites, how what we did to your bases. You're losing your mind, and you're losing this war, face it. You tweet like a madman, threatening power plants and bridges. Praise be to Allah. You sound unhinged, you bitch. You want us living in hell, but you're the one scared of the sky. Begging every satellite company to hide what we did to your guys. 17 bases hit, C-130 and Black Hawks gone. 100 million wasted just to save one pawn. Now you're blocking the photo so the world doesn't see how bad little Iran fucked up your military. Power plant, bridge day. Open the fucking strait or you'll be living in hell. Censor the satellites, how what we did to your bases. You're losing your mind, and you're losing this war, face it. Sacred defense. We still standing. You censoring the sky.
So it says, we're still standing and you're censoring the sky. Here's an example of them being able to break things really quickly, because this is exactly what happened, right? This is from NPR, right? NPR ran a story about this real quick. Check this out. Jake Golden got to work trying to figure out if any of it was real. Golden is a senior researcher at Bellingcat, an independent organization that does open source investigations. He's part of an informal group of journalists, human rights activists, and online influencers that seek to geolocate and verify events in war zone as they happen. But Golden and others were missing some vital tools for this work. Iran has imposed a strict internet blackout in recent months, limiting what civilians can send to the outside world. At the same time, satellite imagery that is often used to corroborate photos taken on the ground has been disappearing as well. Shortly after the start of the war in Iran, satellite provider Planet put in a 2-week delay in the imagery it shared with journalists and the public. The day after the plane went down, it announced it would no longer provide any recent images of the entire Middle East. Here's a quote. The U.S. government has requested all satellite imagery providers voluntarily implement an indefinite withhold of imagery in the designated area of interest. The company wrote to its customers in an email, we expect this policy to last through the end of the conflict, right? So, you know, maybe they get some things wrong in these Lego videos, but they got that one right. We are literally censoring the sky, as they said. It's all happening. Here's another example of one. For example, this one is talking about war crimes and some of the things that the U.S. has done that potentially could fall into that category.
Yeah, you blew the bridge, posted the video proud. Power plants next, Stone Age talk out loud. Watch this. What? War crime, war crime, war crime, war crime. Bridge down, civilians cry. Trump on truth, social flexing while they die. Power plants next, blackouts in the night. Stone Age threat. Great Persia still shines bright. You split the brick, we split the bridge in flames. Smoke filling up the sky, posted the video laughing, showing off your strike, threatening power plants, trying to turn off all the lights, dragging us to Stone Age with your illegal might. But Great Persia rises, history on our side, ancient empire strong, we never hide. True social warrior, keyboard criminal, every strike you drop, we multiply the missile war.
True social warrior. This is the first time I've ever heard that. I heard Twitter warrior. I heard Twitter fingers. I never heard true social warrior.
Tomato.
Warrior, keyboard criminal. Every strike you drop, we multiply the missile. War crime, war crime, war crime, war crime. Bridge down, civilians cry. Trump on truth, social flexing while they die. Power plants next, blackouts in the night. Stone Age threat. Great Persia still shines bright. Sacred defense. We own the fight. War crime. Yeah.
So there's another one, right? And so that one clearly describes their point of view after the United States destroyed a civilian bridge, reportedly civilian bridge, right? That's the story it's telling, and it's accusing the U.S. of war crimes. Well, this puts the idea very effectively in people's heads who are not paying attention to the details of what's happening here. And Iran has been good at this for a long time. This is a piece that was published in The Independent that really looks at this particular wave of propaganda, Lego propaganda that Iran is putting out here, and share some interesting things about Iran's history with propaganda. So we'll start right here. But we shouldn't be so surprised. This is on brand for the Islamic Republic, both in terms of the medium they are using and the messages they convey. At its core lies a binary worldview that casts global politics as a confrontation between the oppressed and the oppressors. This good versus evil narrative does not merely describe Iran's position, but elevates it to be the spokesperson for all those deemed subjugated by Western and Israeli power. There's a bigger idea that Iran is focused on implementing into the West, particularly the West. Simplistic comic book narratives of underdog heroes rising up against powerful enemies are perfect packages for the simplistic goodies-baddies messaging. The contemporary meme, while playful on its surface, reduces this logic with remarkable ease for what is the world of social media, if not a world divided, moralized, and rendered legible through images where complicated histories and ideological positions squeeze into instantly recognizable and shareable forms. But this turn towards AI-generated videos is merely the last iteration of Iranian engagement with new media at pivotal political moments. Whatever new communication technologies are available during politically seismic moments across history, Iranians have found them and leveraged them to shape narratives, influence audiences, and chronicle struggles. During the constitutional revolution of 1905 to 1911, it was clandestine night letters and newspapers critiquing financial mismanagement and foreign infringement while introducing new concepts of governance and political participation. In the 70s, cassette tapes, the very height of sophistication at the time, carrying the speeches of Iran's future supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, and the ideologue Ali Shariati, often smuggled into the country and passed furtively hand to hand, fomented the intellectual groundswell of the 1979 Iranian Revolution and helped imagine a future without the Shah. The Iran-Iraq War, 1980 to 1988, captured in film and television a nation at war in real time, narrating stories of innocence and violence, men setting off for the front lines, breaking bread in the trenches, and returning to all corners of the country as martyrs. Protesters challenging the legal, social, and economic policies of the Islamic Republic throughout the first decades of the 21st century have relied on mobile phones and social media to document and publicize their travails and triumphs, and the government crackdown standing in their way. They've been doing this, right? From a lot of the threats that were reported about going to war with Iran, right? It's a 92 million people country. It's a big country. You can't do that. It's a mountainous region. If you're trying to put troops on the ground, it's very difficult to do it on most of the borders of the country. Of all these things, there's a SWOT analysis done. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. I didn't have anybody tell me that Iran has a very long, effective, century-long resume when it comes to effective propaganda. So this is what it looks like in 2026. Now, this one, also by Explosive Media, is probably one of the most impactful ones. There is no rap lyrics in this, but the imagery is poignant because this really speaks to what we just saw in the previous article. They are positioning themselves as a country that is standing up against Western oppressors. And this video is powerful. So you have indigenous people from North America, you have some Africans here. So now the Legos are putting signs on missiles. Today's lesson, Homeland. You got Malcolm X on the screen. It says, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Malcolm X. For the stolen blacks, right? This missile right here says, for the stolen blacks. For the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. for the victims of Iran Air Flight 655, in memory of Rachel Corrie's freedom struggle, in memory of the families of Afghanistan, in memory of the people of villages of Vietnam, for the victims of American prisons in Iraq, for the Malcolm X Way, for the children of Gaza, for the children of Epstein Island, for the innocent children of Manab. That's the school that was bombed at the beginning of this war. Now everybody's going to hit the red button. That one said, in one vengeance for all. Powerful. That's a powerful one. Again, that speaks to what we just saw in that last article. Iran is positioning itself as fighting for all people who've been oppressed in all these different countries, in all these corners of the globe by the United States and Israel. And that is why that had to go. Because today, or yesterday rather, the story that ran here on Middle East Eye says YouTube removes pro-Iran channel producing anti-Trump videos. Google, the owners of YouTube, has removed a channel on the platform belonging to a pro-Iran group producing Lego-themed videos mocking Donald Trump. Upon review, we've terminated the channel for violating our spam, deceptive practices, and scams policies, a YouTuber spokesperson told Middle East Eye. YouTube doesn't allow spam, scams, or other deceptive practices that take advantage of the YouTube community. Explosive Media's content largely consists of animations ridiculing the U.S. war effort against Iran and poking fun at the U.S. president. YouTube did not specify how the channel had violated its policies, but the company has previously described as being aligned with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. One of the group's videos depicts Trump hurling a chair at U.S. military figures while Iranian generals press a red button with the label "Back to the Stone Age," referencing a threat made by the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Another depicts Trump with a flaming bottom holding a sign that reads, "Victory, I am a loser." A number of videos reference Shia Islamic mythology, including depictions of Hussein ibn Ali, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, who is a key symbol of resistance and spiritual leadership for Shia Muslims. Writing on X, Explosive Media hit out at Google for suspending its channel, saying it had been done because its content was violent. Seriously? Are Lego-style animations actually violent? It wrote. Explosive Media, known in Persia as Akbar and Farji, has denied it is backed by the Iranian government, and its videos have reached millions of viewers across a range of social media platforms. In its most recent video, prior to being suspended, appeared to show Trump carrying out the war in Iran to distract from the Epstein files and at Israel's behest. It also implied that Epstein and his associates had engaged in cannibalism, which there is no evidence of. An earlier video referenced other victims of U.S. violence through history, including Native Americans, the Vietnamese, and the children of Gaza, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki. It also quoted Malcolm X. We just saw that. Social media has increasingly become a major platform for the war of words between the U.S., Israel, Iran, and their various supporters and opponents. Trump's White House has also put out largely AI-generated imagery and videos that aggrandize the president and project American power. Earlier on Monday, Trump posted an image on his Truth Social network that appeared to present him as Jesus Christ. He took that down. And today said, oh, he thought it was a doctor. But I guess the liberal media gonna paint it like he's Jesus. Everybody knew he was a doctor.
Tomato.
The propaganda war is in full effect. Much of it will be lost on Iranians, however, as they are currently under the longest internet blackout in history, according to monitoring group NetBlocks. The Islamic Republic regularly blocks internet access in Iran during periods of unrest. The government says the move is aimed at countering misinformation, but critics say it provides cover for violent state crackdowns. Some have been able to circumvent the block using alternative methods such as Starlink satellite. The Islamic Republic regularly blocks internet access in Iran during periods of unrest. The government says the move is aimed at countering misinformation, but critics say it provides cover for violent state crackdowns. Some have been able to circumvent the block using alternative methods such as Starlink satellite, which government allies have been granted exceptions. Speaking to the BBC, the head of Explosive Media, who referred to himself as Mr. Explosive, said his team consisted of fewer than 10 people and that the Iranian government was a customer of his company. Right? They had to take it down, had to get out of here. It was only a matter of time before Western platforms started banning these highly effective Lego videos that have been creeping into all of our timelines. I think that this is just another example of perhaps a blind spot that at least we weren't necessarily expecting. You start posting Lego videos that you can understand even without listening to the lyrics or the words. And they start sharing information that maybe you don't want the West to hear, you don't want your home team to know. That's a problem. That is a problem, you know? And again, you're talking about a country that has one of the lowest literacy rates in the world. I'm talking about the United States of America. And one of the things that the United States of America is really good at is simplifying propaganda for us. Like, for us. If you really look at the most successful media outlets, they frame everything as good versus evil. Good versus evil. That's what it is. Don't vote for them. They're legitimately evil over there if you vote for them. That is what we're very susceptible to. And these Lego videos with their hip hop foundations and their break beats, these videos are strictly aimed at painting the West as everybody's bad guy. So it had to go. And in its place, like we started with, are a bunch of at least two brand new companies who are doing the same thing. This has opened an entirely new can of worms. I don't think this is going anywhere, regardless of how many times people get blocked for this. And I thought all of this was simply fascinating. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section. Let me know if I got anything wrong. My name is Justin Hunt. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow @thecompanyman on everything, including the Company Man podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, including the Third Verse podcast with Stack Pro, DJ More Millie, and myself, and the Company Man Clips channel, which is up and active now. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping them. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, yes, y'all. You don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.